Hello and welcome back to the Health and Harmony Girls podcast.
Yeah.
So still on the self-care series, and today we are talking about financial self-care. I know we spoke about work, but financial is completely different. I think for so long I always used to think financial and career were like similar, but at the end of the day, like your money and your actual career are two completely separate things. Yes, they're both intertwined, but
You get money from your career, but your financial self-care is something different.
Exactly. So I'm quite excited to dive into this because I think money is such a taboo topic within so many people, especially like I was at my grand the other weekend and she had a lot of her mates there, and they're saying if there are a few things you don't talk about around the table, and one of the things they said was how much money you earn. And I turned to my husband, I was like, why is it such a taboo thing? It's not like you speak about it in competitive terms. It's just interesting to,
I think that's the thing, it's about the way you speak about
it's empowering to be able to talk about what you earn. And interesting, like you might meet someone who's in the exact same industry as you, and you might actually find out that you're being highly underpaid or highly overpaid. So, I mean, there's no reason not to talk about why, like the money that you make at a table. Sorry, that just came to my mind now as we started talking about this.
No, but it's true.
It is, yeah. I think it's become such a taboo topic because I don't know, maybe it's just to keep us small.
All keeping these you in a little box.
Yeah, all these lovely conditioning things. But yeah, so we thought financial would be a really cool topic to talk about when it comes to self-care. Again, another topic that you probably wouldn't think about when it comes to self-care, but yeah, I think financial, especially after what we've been through over the past years, is a really important topic for people to be more aware of, because it's can either make or break you in these kind of turmoil times.
And I think especially with finances, it's so important to take note of your finances. Like that's the number one point in your financial relationship with your finances, yourself. But to just take note of what's going on, because I think so often we can turn a blind eye and it does become difficult, and you think, you know, if you're not looking, it's fine, but that shit's still going to happen. Like your debit orders are still going to go off whether you're looking at your bank account or not. So just to make sure that you are keeping on top of your debit orders are, or whatever the situation is. But we'll dive into some topics now.
Yeah, I was going to say that leads so perfectly into the first topic, and that's reflecting on your relationship with money. And I think that's where the problem comes in with most of us, is that we all have such a bad relationship with money that we actually kind of like sweep it under the rug and really try not to think about it, or to like go into your banking app and see how much money is in your account, because we have this like terrible mindset around money. And when you can actually start to work on this mindset and this relationship that you have with money and turn it from negative to positive, and we talk about the law of attraction so often, like when you change your relationship with money and it's more positive, the universe is like, sick, this chick loves money, let me send her more.
Let me give her some more where that came from.
So I think, and it's such a hard one because we all have such different limiting beliefs around money, but really just starting to dig a little bit deeper and be like, what is my relationship with money? Like when it comes to money, firstly, like what do you feel inside? Like I used to feel sick inside. Now I love it. Like I literally go into my banking app every day. I like have a date with my bank account. And ever since I've done that, I've actually found myself to be more financially stable and secure, because I actually am investing time and effort into my relationship with money, and it's showing me that in return. It's the same as like dating someone. If you completely ignore someone and like get sick every time you think about them, that relationship is not going to work.
Nope.
And that person's not going to give back to you in any like positive way. So yeah, I think it's a cool way to look at it. Really like building this positive and exciting relationship around money can really help to bring more money into your life.
And I love that you were speaking about it in that sense, because it is so important to think about your finances as, like Rock says, like a person. You have to have a relationship with your finances. And I've said this in previous podcasts when we talk about money. I am also speaking to myself in these podcasts. I'm not lecturing any of you guys, because I'm super bad with my relationship with my bank accounts and all of that stuff. So I do try to be better. So this is coming from a place of understanding. But you have to have a good relationship with your money. Like Rock says, log onto your banking, have that little date, if you want to call it that, with your bank account, and form a good relationship around money, because you have to remember at the end of the day, you are the only person that's in control of the way that you feel around money. No one else can change that. Yes, people can give you opinions, but you're the only person that can change your limiting beliefs around what you feel money is for you. So.
Yeah. And I think like just going in a little bit more into the limiting beliefs around money, because we always say we talk about it all the time, but this might be someone's first time listening to our podcast. Like there are so many negative stigmas around money, like money doesn't grow on trees, money is the root of all evil. And those things, without you even realizing it, become like the standard from which you view and do things when it comes to money. So it is so important to really think about, like, when you think about money, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? When you think about rich people, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Because there is also such a thing that like rich people are evil and rich people are stingy, and how do you think they got rich? By fucking other people over. Where like in these days, especially now with like there being such a huge boost in online, being like online opportunities. And I'm speaking from experience because I know me as being a life coach, like, yes, there are coaches now that are making so much money, but they are using that to create more good in the world. They aren't fucking people over to make the money, and they are using the money that they make to create more impact in the world. So there's so many, I think, things that we don't even realize impact our relationship with money, and it all boils down to these misconceptions and these limiting beliefs. So really dig deep if you can, and if you want to improve your relationship with money, start to dig deep and really ask yourself, what do you think about when you think about money? What do you think about when you think about people who are rich? And start to destructure these like weird things we have in our mind about money, because it will really help you to improve your relationship with money and bring more abundance into your life.
And also, it's just like we say with all other manifestations and affirmations and all the rest of it, if you don't genuinely believe deep down that you can change that limiting belief, you probably won't change that limiting belief. So you really do have to put your all into changing the way you view these things. And no one's saying it's going to happen overnight. Like I still to this day have to sometimes catch myself in a limiting belief around money and be like, I should not be thinking that. That is my goal. Just give me 1 second.
No stress. Alrighty, so we had a visitor and now we cannot remember what we were talking about.
So we're just gonna hop onto the next
It's gonna seem so disjointed, but anyways, the next point was to check your bank accounts regularly. And I mean, I already spoke about this, but I actually was told this by one of my coaches like a year ago, and I was like, I can't think of anything worse. But I have to be honest, now that I do check my accounts regularly, and I have to be honest, sometimes I still open my bank account when I know I've like spent a bit of cash on my credit card. I'm like, oh God, don't look at the credit card balance. But it just makes you so much more comfortable with like your relationship with money when you do. So try it out. Like even if it's for a week, like my coach said, have a date with your bank account every day. Just log in, check, see, like, just makes you feel more comfortable with money. And I think the more comfortable you are with money, the easier it is to attract more money into your life.
And I think the more comfortable you are with checking your account, it will, like you say, give you a better relationship with your money. But you also need to remember that the more often you're checking your bank account, the easier it is going to get. Like the first few times you might still feel like, oh, this sucks so much. But when you get into the routine, just like we were speaking about everything else with routines, you get into the routine of checking your bank account, whether that's something you do in the morning or the evening or once every 2 days, whatever it is, find what works for you, and don't be scared. The more you do it, the less scared you'll be.
Yeah, it just reminds me, I remember in school when we used to go from winter like pants back into your dresses. It used to feel so weird for the first like week having your legs out, and then it's like it feels normal. So it's the
Everything
same thing.
is back to normal.
Okay, then the next point is saving, and I think this is so important. A lot of us, I mean, obviously it's so dependent on your situation. Sometimes people are making just enough money to get by, but I think with saving also comes with like spending more consciously, because I think a lot of us, I know being in the coaching industry, people are always like, I don't have money to spend on investing in myself, but you have money to go for dinner and to buy new makeup and to go to the hairdresser. It's just being more conscious of where you spend your money and what return you're getting on the spending, I guess. I think the next.
And there's things that when it comes to saving, like Rox was saying, yes, you do sometimes just are able to get by, but what are you spending your money on? Because you are spending money on certain things. And I know that there are, like you said, people that literally go day by day, week by week, month by month, however the situation works. But you need to concentrate on, as Rox was saying, what are you getting from that? And you know what? There's nothing wrong with going to the hairdresser. There's nothing wrong with getting your nails done. What do I get out of getting my nails done? I feel great having my fingertips done. Like, that's pretty much it. There's no great thing that comes from me getting my nails done, but that's something I like to spend money on. But if there was something more important in my life that I know I needed to save for, that would be one of the things I would start cutting out, because it's not a necessity to me. So that's the kind of situation that you need to think about, is where can I cut costs if I want to introduce something else into my life that requires finances?
Yeah, I think that saving and our next point, that's budgeting, go hand in hand, because I mean, even me and hubby now are getting to the point where we're like, let's look at all our monthly debit orders and see where we can bring our expenses down. Like maybe we don't have to be on such an expensive medical aid, or maybe we don't have to have this gym contract because we're training mostly at home. Like it's just small things like that where you can really see where the money you're spending is either being wasted or there's no return coming back from that money being spent. So yeah, just take a moment, and this goes also back to having a date with your bank account, and go and see, like, what am I actually spending my money on? Like, where can I spend less so that I can save more, or where can I rather spend money on this instead of that, because I know if I spend it on this, there's actually some kind of a mental or spiritual or emotional gain, whereas maybe like, yeah, getting my nails done, yeah, it makes me feel good, but I could have rather like bought this course that'll help me further improve my skill set for this new job that I want to get, or something like that.
Yes, and I think it's also so important to, like Rox was saying, save for things that are important to you. And I think also, and I speak from experience with this, or from relatability, if you want to call it that, sometimes you are so out of tune or out of sorts or oblivious to what's going on in your bank account that you don't actually realize that there's debit orders and stuff going off that you don't need anymore. Like, I'm guilty of that. I know there's that thing that we use. I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but if there's something called Linktree, and it like gives you all these things where you can go onto your different links off your Instagram profile. Basically, here's my YouTube link, here's this, and here's that. I don't even use it anymore. And because I wasn't looking at my bank accounts, I didn't realize I was still getting debited for it every single month. So you need to be able to go onto your bank and be like, one day I looked and I was like, what's Linktree? And then I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't used that for months, but I've still been paying for it. And I think now with all these apps and stuff, so often we click accept. Sometimes you don't realize, like, every month this app is charging you 13 Rand. Yes, it's only 13 Rand, but 13 Rand a month for 12 months is something that you could have saved for something else. So
yeah,
even if it's a cup of coffee, because you know your girl loves a good cup of coffee.
Yeah. And then the next point is money management, which I think we've pretty much covered with the saving and the budgeting and the checking your bank accounts regularly. But I like that you brought up that topic about just checking if there are, and it's always subscriptions, I know with me as well, if there are things that you're still paying for that you had no idea you were. I know hubby had some like dent and scratch policy on his car that he's never used in his entire life. It was only like 40 or 50 Rand a month. But that's like quite a big saving over like 3-4 years that you're spending it on something that you're never ever going to use.
Completely agree. Okay, then our next point is about splurging. So, I mean, this is a touchy one, because I think also, once again, relative to what everyone's earning and what you have as excess to spend in your life. And I don't necessarily want to say that splurging is bad, because I mean, yes, it can be bad in a specific situation, but yes, it's good to spoil yourself. Yes, it's good to work hard and to be like, you know what, I deserve this. But you also need to think like, do I deserve to have like one piece of clothing this month and maybe one in 6 months' time? Or am I now going to go and spend 4 grand on clothing in 1 month where I really could have used that money elsewhere? So I think, like I said, with regard to splurging, in my opinion, yes, sometimes it's good, but I think it's relative to the amount that you spend versus what you have as extra.
I was going to say it's all like boils down to moderation, really. I heard somewhere, and I thought it was such good advice, that with your salary, obviously this also depends on the situation you're in, but if you can, save 10% of your salary and spend 10% of your salary splurging on yourself, because what are you working for at the end of the day? Yes, to pay your bills, but also to live a life that you enjoy. And I mean, I have such a mindset about, yes, it's good to plan for your future, but some of us might get hit by a bus tomorrow, and you've been saving all this money for when you retire and you've never actually enjoyed any of the money that you've made. So I think finding that sweet spot where you can budget an amount that you can splurge on yourself, whether it's once a month or once every 6 months or once a year, and maybe you want to go on an overseas holiday or like buy a new wardrobe, whatever your idea of like splurging and spoiling yourself is, like really just planning for that so that you can enjoy your life, because you might get hit by a bus tomorrow, like I said, and you've been so, what's the word, like tight with your money. Sometimes you just need to enjoy life a little bit.
Completely. And I love that you brought that topic up, because I was actually going to say that also links to a lot of people's limiting beliefs. Like I know a lot of people that have like saved their money their entire life, and we talk about saving, and saving is great, yes, but save for something. If you've got, like Rox, for example, says about a course, if you've got a course that you want to do, save up for that course. But if you in general are just saving large portions of your salary every single month because you're so scared and you have this limiting belief that in the future you're going to lose everything, you're not necessarily saving for the good. It's saving because you have these limiting beliefs that one day you will have nothing. So there are those people that save their money their entire life. They don't enjoy their life, but then all the people that you leave your money to get to enjoy what you've worked hard for in your life. So I think that's important to remember as well, is just there's that fine line between saving for things in a productive manner and saving your money in a way that's feeding into your limiting beliefs.
Yeah. There's something I was going to say that was so pertinent at this point, but now I've forgotten about it.
Well, when it comes to mind, you can always return back to it.
Okay, the next point is paying bills and prioritizing your debts. I think a lot of people, especially now after the pandemic and not having planned for months and months of this uncertainty, are finding themselves in a situation where you might be in debt or in more debt than you had ever imagined you would be. So I think when it comes to paying bills and prioritizing your debt, it's so important, because it's a mindset thing as well. When you are constantly thinking about and worrying about this debt that you have to pay off, it really eats into your wellness, and your basically
literally your mental wellness, physical wellness.
So just knowing that you have a plan and actually having a plan can really give you that peace of mind when it comes to this. And then again, paying your bills, it's so important. I know so many people who live way beyond their means, and then they still don't pay their bills. They get away with so many things of like not paying like the necessities in their life, whether it's rent or someone that they've bought something for. And that for me, I think is just such bad karma.
And I think it's literally, it goes back to the point of you were saying about, you say you don't have money to do something, but what else are you doing in the meantime that you're spending money on? And that's very important to remember with paying your debts, because like Rox was saying, paying your bills and paying your debts, if you have this weight above your shoulders or above your head, it plays such a role in your sleep at night. You lie awake thinking about all of these things, where when you get paid, what bill can you pay with whatever you've been paid and still be able to afford groceries or whatever it is for the rest of the month? Make sure that you are paying those bills, because if you're going out and spending that money on going and drinking with your friends on the weekend, yes, we all love to socialize, but there are things that need to be paid before you are going to spend your money on other things that are going to make you enjoy your life, because the time will come when you can enjoy your money, but you need to be able to pay your bills. Otherwise, you're always going to feel so shit about it.
Yeah, I think it's just being responsible. I mean, we're all adults.
Being an adult. Basically, the financial podcast is about being an adult.
Yeah, responsibilities.
And then our last point is to create realistic goals on your road to financial freedom. So like Rox was saying just now about people living way beyond their means, we've always said manifest and affirm and do all the things that you need to do to put your life in the right direction. But saying, like we've said before, saying I manifest R1 million, like when do you manifest R1 million? Is there something you want to earn by a certain number or by a certain date? Put not limits, that's the wrong thing. Put dates and due dates on things that you would like to do with your finances, and make sure that you are creating realistic goals according to what you know you're able to do in your industry. Like if you've literally just started creating something today and you expect to earn R1 million by next month, guess what, girl? It's probably not going to happen. So give yourself that goal of like, I'm going to be a millionaire in 3 years' time in my business. Make sure you are setting realistic goals so that you don't set yourself up for failure, because if you are failing your own goals, you'll be even more disappointed.
I was going to say, you basically set yourself up for disappointment. So we don't want to say like lessen your goals, don't dream big. But yeah, I think being realistic is so important, because we all set these like massive goals, and we might put like a very short time frame on them, and all we do is land up getting disappointed. And guess what? That affects your mental health, because now you are in this like negative emotional spiral of, oh, who did I think I was? I'll never like be able to get this. And you just go in this downward spiral of negativity, where it's so easily avoidable. Just set goals that you know are realistic for your life. I mean, it's such a double-edged sword, because I don't want to say like, I could also think, well, I could only realistically earn this amount of money if these are the things that I do. So I don't want to limit myself by setting a goal to that as well. Like dream fucking big. But yeah, I think there's a fine line between setting realistic goals and staying small, and also setting big audacious goals and setting yourself up for disappointment. I guess it all just boils down to the amount of effort and the self-belief that you're willing to put into whatever it is that you've set as a goal for yourself.
Yeah, and relative to what your goals are to each person, I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that was a little chat about finances. Sorry for our little hiccup in the middle. I really, when we listen back to this, we're going to laugh so much. We were saying how we're going to remember what we were saying. But it was so nice to have you guys listen to us again. And thank you for being a part of our self-care series. If you guys aren't, you can already start it now. I mean, I think by now when this podcast is up, it would have been a week or something that the self-care 30 days is happening. So if you want to start, you don't have to start at the beginning. You can literally start your beginning today. So follow us and
follow us on the gram.
Speak to you next week.
Love you. Bye.
Toodaloo.